Hey everyone, my name is Marquita. Welcome to Marquita Makes. And for this year, my big plan was to destash. So, I have a lot of yarn. Since the thought of this video, I have destashed some by reselling it. And I'm pretty happy with what I've given away. I do want to live a simpler life, but I also want to enjoy it. And so this year I decided to change my perspective from having all the yarn to making with beautiful yarns. So there are so many beautiful yarns out there, whether they range from acrylic to superwash merino to yak to mulberry. There's so many beautiful yarns, but I want to be much more conscious of how I'm spending. And I want to be more conscious of the materials I'm spending on and who I'm actually supporting as well. So, while I decided to destash this year, I thought that I would share some of the yarns that I have collected over the past 3-4 years. Just a few. I do not plan on sharing my stash, and it is growing much smaller by the way of gifting and reselling, not very much. But I plan to finish out this year without buying any yarn, which is going to be so hard because a lot of times we buy beautiful yarn and then change our mind about the type of design that we want and need more yarn, so that requires us to buy more yarn, like sweater quantity yarn. I'm going to try very hard not to do that, but hey, if a sweater design calls me, that's what I'm going with. Well, one of the projects I've been working on is finishing up with this yarn from Big Twist. And Big Twist is a brand of yarn that's supplied with Joann's. So unfortunately, you are probably going to see a lot of yarns that are discontinued. I'm so sorry, guys. So, but one good thing is if you do have it in your stash, maybe it might inspire you to make something similar, or just consider the type of color work you're working with and switch it up. So here I use actually 3 totally different colors of Big Twist yarn. It wasn't a striping yarn. They were 3 different types, and I had enough to make a sweater quantity. I had a sweater quantity worth of Big Twist yarns from Joann's, and it was the premium yarn. But I changed my mind. I've had it for so long, that didn't call to me to make a sweater in these colors. So I decided to make a scarf. Now mind you, this may be some people's go-to for presents and gifts or just a quick make, but I rarely make long rectangular scarves. So I was very happy with this choice of yarn, and it's a very simple stitch and design. It's just double crochet. Oh yeah, it's super long, by the way. I don't know, I say maybe 45 stitches across, and I just worked up until I felt it was long enough, and I still had more yarn left over. So that just goes to show, yeah, I had quite a bit of it and wasn't putting it to any good use, and changed my mind about the design that I was going to use for it. I don't know how many times, but initially it was supposed to be for a sweater. Well, my tastes have kind of changed in what I want to wear as a sweater and colors I want to wear as a sweater. But this turned out exactly as I expected it. I will not be unraveling it and making something else out of it. I love it. And the biggest part of it is I wanted both sides to be equal as far as where the colors would lie. And for some strange reason, the most important part to me was to make sure that I had this taupish, and I think it was called chinchilla, this chinchilla color here, so that when I wrapped it, it would be the color that was right around my face. And then the other 2 would be parallel. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. I did, as I mentioned, have a lot of this yarn, so I decided to make mittens. Now, on my previous video, I had made socks for the first time, and I enjoyed them. And while I was making them, I noticed that one of the same designs as for a sock could be what's the word? Could be adjusted to make mittens. So while I have not figured out exactly how I want to finish off the thumb, I don't know if I want to start in like a magic circle from the top, work down and seam it together, maybe from the inside out, or work from the circle here around my thumb, work it up and decrease. I just don't know yet. I don't know. But I did start on them, and I will have enough to finish it, so I'm pretty excited about that. And no, I won't be putting this kind of strawberry-ish coral color. I won't be adding it to these. I just wanted just a simple, very simple, but of course matching set for the scarf. Y'all, right now we are having an ice storm, and I say that because we really didn't get any snow. It has been raining, what is it, tiny pebbles of ice, because it's not really sleet because there's not much wetness to it, but it's compounded and it's packed, and honestly I can't get up my heels. So my sweet poor children have been stuck in all day because I don't want them to slip on the ice outside and have to take them to the hospital. I know I'm that mom, but maybe it will, maybe, but I doubt it because the weather's so bad right now. I was thinking maybe some of it would melt and they can go outside. So I said all this because, one, I can't wait to wear this in this cold weather. But two, you may hear them. So excuse my kids if you hear them laughing. They're happy, which is good, but sorry if you hear them. Okay, moving on to my next project. I had quite a few skeins, about a sweater quantity worth of Lion brand colorways. And yes, I got it on clearance, and those are the best buys, are they not? So of course it will work up like stripes, but not quite. But anyways, I allowed my youngest daughter, and I have 3, to pick out which, out of my stash, which yarn she wants to use for a sweater, and this is what she went with. Now mind you, I'm fairly new to Tunisian crochet. Let me see if I have a bigger example. I'm fairly new to Tunisian crochet, but I noticed that when I make things kind of in that knit stitch, she really likes it. So that's what I did. I used Tunisian crochet and I worked it up with like a knit stitch, and I think she's going to love it. The only thing is I'm definitely going to have to block it. Not so much just because it's curling, but because I think I might have made it just a tad bit too small considering she's growing. Yeah, she'll be 7 soon, and I really do want it to last until next winter. So I'm going to block this baby. So that's what I said, the second thing that I'm working on. And this hook, actually, I didn't purchase it per se. I was a member of Knit Crate, and one of the gifts that came in the Knit Crate box that particular month was this wonderful Tunisian wooden crochet hook. Now, I have tried quite a few different Tunisian crochet hooks, and this so far has been my most favorite one. The only problem is I don't know, I couldn't figure out who made it, where it came from, and it wasn't interchangeable. So it has a permanent stopper on it, but still, it doesn't, it's not very grabby, you know. It's not, it has such a smooth head on it that it glides right in and out, and it doesn't split the yarn. And yes, some Tunisian crochet hooks do split yarn. One that I used being the Knitter's Pride Dreams. I didn't care for it at all. I guess the head was just too sharp, kind of like the Susan Bates. And I love Susan Bates, but for some strange reason, no matter what yarn I worked with, it didn't work out very well for me. So that's my second project. And I do have, I have several. But what I wanted to share with you today were just a few. I also have, now mind you, before I show you this, I had one cake of this Burnett Pop in Snow Queen, I think it is, in Snow Queen for 2 years. Yes, 2 years. Had no idea what I wanted to make with it. I could only find one. Walmart had clearanced it. There was no label, so yes, I had to Google and find out what it was called and who made it. But you know, Bernette kind of has that look. You know, like each yarn company, you know, even if there's a lot of variety, they each have their signature look. So I knew it had to be Bernette, and I was right. And I was glad I was right, because I needed so much more, because when my daughter saw it, and yes, it was 2 years ago, she wanted a sweater. But guess what? After 2 years, she still wants a sweater. So I thought it was going to be one that I was going to destash. I was going to destash it, y'all, and say, sorry babe, you're going to have to pick something else. But literally the day that I decided to destash this yarn, I looked at my email, and Joann's was getting in this exact yarn. Not only were they getting it in, it was already off the truck and in the aisles, in the bins for pickup. Well, you know, you purchase online and pick up. I was so happy, because had it not been for that, it was going to get destashed. It was going to either be donated or it was going to be sold. So she's so happy, and I get to show you so far what it looks like. Now, mind you, I have normally made sweaters using starting with a yoke and working in the round, but for whatever reason this time I decided not to do that, and I don't think I liked it. I don't think I liked working up sweaters, and I don't know, depending on the size of the yarn, it seems like it can go a whole lot faster or it can go a lot slower when you're working in the round. But, and I hope you guys can see this, I'm not finished. So I have quite a few unfinished projects, and I'll show you one finished if you just want to see it. But so far, and she's loving it, by the way, this is how the Snow Queen has worked up. Yes, and it's for like a size 14, yes, 14, 16, and girls. And I got one sleeve done. It's always so wonderful when you get a sleeve done. But I did decide, I'm a very simple stitcher. I know how to do quite a few different types of stitches, but I always go back toward the simple stitches, and I don't know why. Maybe I'll figure that out by the next episode, but just simple double crochet. And I did work the sleeve in the round, and when I got to the very ends, I did the front post stitch, and I like it. I thought it turned out so cute as a cuff. And these stitch markers are by K Crochet Creations. If I get it backwards, I'm going to make sure to post it in the description. But I love them because I'm that person that I used to slide my crochet hooks in my project in my yarn ball all the time, and of course they fall out, they get lost, or it take you weeks and days to find it. So, because to me it's not considered lost unless it's completely gone out of your life and you can't retrieve it. So anyways, I'm getting off subject. She makes these wonderful crochet stitch, well, yeah, you can say crochet, but stitch markers that has the size of the hook that you're working on. So when I attach this, even if I lose my, which I don't anymore because I bought cases for all of my hooks, if I lose my hook or put my hook away and can't remember which one I was working on, I have this as a reminder. And they're gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it, but they're resin, they're hand poured, and she even puts a little glitter in it. So I love shimmer. I love shimmer. I love glitter. I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit too old for it now, so whenever I can find a reason, an excuse where it looks a little bit mature to have it, I go for it. So I love these, and like I said, I'll make sure to put her website or like her Etsy shop or her Instagram handle at the bottom. But yes, so this baby should be finished by the next time that I post a new episode. And yes, I did even around the collar, I did a front post, and I think she's really gonna like it. Like I did ask her at some point to try it on, but you know, she hadn't seen it in a little while. And this is like a medium, let's see what is considered medium weight. or is it considered bulky? To me, it's really not bulky, but it's leaning towards. It is medium, but I don't know if you can tell. I hope this focuses. It does kind of lean a little toward, so it's wanting to get bulky. So this is a nice medium. It's really soft. I guess you'd say worsted weight. It worked up pretty nicely, pretty fast, not too fast. So hopefully I'll have it soon, have it done soon by the next episode. Y'all, I really like it, and it's so squishy, 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 squishy. So I know she's gonna enjoy it. I love me some squishy yarn. Yes. Well, that's that. I wanted to make sure to show all my finished, well, whips. They're almost finished. Like in my mind, they're done. Like I'm so close in my mind that they're done. But also too, I was given a great idea to use my scraps for like a blanket at the very end of the year. So far, these are the scraps that I have from what I've just been working on this year. I know that temperature blankets have been really popular. I really do want to make one eventually, but because I just really can't decide on colors or themes, I'm probably just going to go with doing a scrap yarn blanket for this year. And that would be my kind of temperature blanket. So, do you want to see a finished item? Okay, well, this was one. And one more that almost matches this. Is Beehive Beanie with the palm. Now, if you follow my Instagram post, you've already seen it. And I just want to put this out here that this was my most favorite beanie out of every single beanie I've ever made. And I'm so sad that this yarn is discontinued. This was a yarn from Hobby Lobby. It was a part of the Toasty Sweet Cakes. It was apricot or apricot jam, and the colors are perfection. I love striped yarn. I finally figured out, since I've been crocheting since what, 2012. I can't believe it's been like what, 9 years? It can't. Yeah, it's been 9. Is it really? 9 years since I've been crocheting, but I finally figured out I'm not a huge fan of variegated yarns that transition very shortly. To be honest with you, in my yarn stash, those were the first to go. But what stayed with me were the stripes. I love striped yarn. So, I'm not sure exactly if you can see much detail, but here is where the beehive comes in. This was a very quick stitch. I didn't follow a pattern. Over the years, you know, I've just developed and learned a few different stitches. I can't, it'd be so hard for me to really explain exactly how I did it. But these were half double crochets, and this was done in the front post. I think I said that right. And so all I really did was just transition to that stitch every so many rows. I didn't even have like an idea in mind. And here I even began to do singles just to make sure, and you really can't tell. So everything else is double crochets, but I threw a few singles in here just to keep the yarn on track as far as how the colorway would work, and it's not noticeable like at all. But I love the teal and I love the aqua. These are my favorite colors, so you probably will see, you know, these colors very often in whatever it is I'm making. I love corals, and then I love my neutrals. I love in the summertime, I do lean more toward the warm colors like yellows and reds and oranges. Those are my colors. In the fall, I love the browns, and I love the reds, and I I love the autumn. That's what I love. And when my kids see me pick yarn or they're in the store with me, they instantly grab something that looks like fall. So they get me. Those are my colors. So these two, I love them. So I actually do like the mix of various shades of blue because I don't like blue. I don't like navy blue. I like blue, not navy blue. I like blue jean blue and other various colors, but just not navy. I don't know why. And two, I never wear palms. Are you a palm person? Because I'm not a palm person. But this palm was so cute too, and it also came from K Crochet Creations or Creations Crochet. I'll get it right in the description. Make sure you guys have a link to it. But this is my other finished object. I have something else on the hook, but it is a make for a special order for someone. So I don't want her to see it yet. I've made it several times before, so she's seen, but I haven't made it in the size, and I made it just slightly different. So after it's shipped off and ready to go, I'll probably post a few pictures of what and how it was finished and completed. But I got some work to do. I've got to finish these mittens, and I've got to finish 2 sweaters and a cardigan. That's the one I'm working on. But anyways, thanks so much for joining me today. That's all I have to share for today. If you want to see any videos on hooks or other types of yarn, I do buy indie yarns from time to time. I won't buy any this year. I'm going to try so hard not to buy yarn, you guys. If I do, I'll give myself some leeway. If I decide that there's a yarn that I have to have, especially if I know that it's going to be like limited edition, it won't be worked again, I'll share it. But I'm going to try to be really good and be very simple and appreciate what I have and have gratitude for what I have. And I am very grateful. But I still want all the yarns. So if you are a yarn addict like I am, I know you can really appreciate the sacrifice that I'm making for this year. And thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. You guys, please take care and be safe out there, and I'll see you next time.